Hello and welcome to this video. Now this kind of idea, like Apple makes, generally speaking, very good phone cameras. But the main thing is it's thanks to their software. The cameras, of course, phone cameras, they're not very large, and they obviously are restricted in certain ways. There's only so much zoom you can get, all that sort of stuff. So what if you gave a camera with a large sensor and much bigger lenses a bit of iPhone photo and video software? Basically, Apple made an Apple camera. So let's split it down into around 4 different parts. Okay? So anyway, first thing I would say is, will it be a good camera? Now, while Apple are well used to making cameras, most of the cameras have been 12 megapixel with small sensors and small lenses. Now, of course, the more recent ones have bumped up to 48, but even then, there's been things there. There's caveats there. However, making up for it with software, Apple have caused theory to arise. How good would a photo be and a video be on a camera if, it had that bigger sensors, had that bigger megapixels? Now, I would say it wouldn't be as big of a leap as you might expect. This is because the software elevates the photo, but while the more is already done by the camera, means the software can also do more. The software also has less to do. So what this means is that, yes, if this existed, you might see 12K video at 60 frames a second at 20 times optical zoom with a 250 megapixel and more light let in and all this. And this would greatly improve the camera. The thing is, though, you have also the thing of, furthermore, the modes such as action and cinematic mode will be expanded on, and Apple could launch new photo types. However, Apple would also probably only release this if they could lead the pack in some way. So this could be that they could say something like the most zoom on a consumer grade camera ever. And this is sort of the point, which is Apple, whenever you have this sort of thing of okay, how much does the software improve the actual camera? And once you reach a certain point, it's okay, well, is there any point in then getting more megapixels? Because will that actually be a better camera? Or will that just be a more expensive one? And all that sort of thing. So there's that to be taken out. I think Apple would be very not very inclined to launch a product that they aren't already in and isn't already making a ton of money if they weren't able to make a ton of money out of it. Because obviously it makes sense for them, even if the iPhone wasn't the best product, if they're still making, billions off of it, it wouldn't make much sense to not have an iPhone. We're well, yeah, but it's already making money. So they're very cautious, Apple, when they want to launch a new feature or a new product. They always want to make sure that it is, close to the best, if not the best. And obviously when they say close to the best, that they can add in the old consumer grade there. It's consumer grade. What does that mean? Are you doing that off your own stuff and that kind of thing? This sort of thing we have there. It's very similar to their ideas of the the Pro things, like the MacBook Pro. It's oh, it's for professionals, is it? It's no. I mean, the average user can sometimes need that power. I've had instances where my computer just has not been able to keep up. It just haven't been able to do certain projects because it just wasn't able to do those tasks. If I was using a MacBook Pro or an iMac Pro or whatever, or a Mac Pro, I would obviously still require that power. But that isn't really a profession. Now you could argue technically YouTube could be a profession, but the point is it's still not technically. So anyway, the point is, at the end of the day, is that they would probably want to, have that sort of thing, the most humanity consumer grade. So, that way you get to just define what your competition is, effectively. Now, you also have price. How much would Apple charge for a camera alone? Well, I imagine the price would be well over $1,000. This is because they don't want to draw any of those who buy their iPhones for the camera from buying an iPhone, Instead, they will most likely place the price of the camera above the iPhones so they get more profit, so they keep people buying the iPhone. Because you don't want people to be going, oh, well, I can just buy a Google, a Google Pixel 7 Pro, and then also I can just get the Apple camera to get the Apple camera experience and to get the ability to connect the video and photos to a Mac. That would be a possibility now. But of course, this is the thing. Of course, obviously, if you're paying a more premium price, it doesn't really matter then, because well, now you're just giving us the same amount of money, in fact probably more, and that's the thing. So that way they can get more profit, and they also get to keep people buying the iPhone. But of course, this also means if Apple charged 700 quid for a Mac Pro wheels, this price could well be into the thousands. Like, 700 quid for wheels is a lot. That was probably just a publicity stunt. You know, I don't think they expect people to really pay for wheels, but you know. The next question is, do I need an iPhone? It is very possible that Apple might make you need, or at least make it very hard to use the device without an iPhone or another Apple device, such as the Mac or iPad. This might include backing up your photos to your Mac but not being able to do so on a Windows computer, or being able to see your camera shot with your iPhone but not on a non-Apple device. So perhaps you can use your iPhone as a wireless monitor, but you can't use that on anything else. That would be, of course, a very smart thing to do for them. Of course, also very predatory. Now, the camera might pair with the iPhone so that it can be wirelessly controlled even, and the photos and videos saved instantly to your iPhone camera roll. The point of locking you out is that even though you will lose some customers, you know, that they're going, well, if you're locking me out of this, I'm not going to buy it then. Even if you lose the customers will have to spend, you know, 800 quid or so on an iPhone, or bought it off someone who did, over 1,100 quid on the camera, probably, if not more, over 1,100 on a Mac or so on, and all this, and this becomes another funnel for people to buy more Apple products, you know. And even if it did not require other Apple products, it might require an Apple service, you know, maybe iCloud Plus, and you can upload straight to the iCloud. Maybe it doesn't actually have the ability, as you know, some MacBooks didn't have, the ability to save to an SD card, and it doesn't have removable storage, so you have to, you know, connect it to your iPhone, something like that. That sort of thing, which it's like you have to have a product. There's no real way of getting beyond this, and that sort of thing there. That is a possibility. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's one of the things. Do you need another Apple product? It's relatively likely. Now, the final question, of course, is, will it ever happen? You know, Apple have been an industry leader in terms of cameras for years. They've built up a large audience of people who are ready and willing to buy a camera off them. This could sell a lot of units if you could use it similar to the iPhone as a webcam. You know, as currently they can, and creators would probably buy it if it paired well with their phone, as this would save the annoyance of SD cards. You know, the point of this would probably sort of like would sell in the millions probably. Even if only one was ever made and sold, it would make a fortune. No, they don't even need to launch generations of this. They could just launch one. However, it is still very possible that Apple will never actually launch a camera, because at the end of the day, it's a risky thing to get into. Having going into a new industry is very, very problematic, especially when it's not just basically a jumping off point to your current industry. You know, it's complicated, and it's one of those things where it's like, well, if you don't think the future is going in an area, and you're jumping into a new product line, well, then you're not just going, oh, we think this is the future of technology. You're actually going, well, this is actually backwards of technology. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, they definitely wouldn't launch it if it wasn't a way above the price of an iPhone. But anyway, that's the Apple camera, little theory discussion there. And yeah, do you think that Apple will ever have a camera?